Hi, it's me, Kelly here again, and what I wanted to talk to you about today is the right way to learn languages. People keep asking me lately, what's the right way to learn a language? And I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on this and read a lot of different blog posts and all sorts on the right way to learn a language. And I've come to the conclusion that there is absolutely no right way to learn a language, and it all completely depends on you as an individual. Yes, there are things that I think across the board aren't so great for language learners, but I think a lot of, this question, what's the right way, how should I learn, completely depends on you as a person, your personality, your interests, your day-to-day routines. It's very difficult to answer the question, what's the right way to learn a language with one or two methods. So you'll probably remember if you've seen my video before that I made on how I use flashcards, and a lot of people would say, flashcards are great for language learning and, it saved their life and they love using flashcards. I hate using flashcards in the traditional way. So in my other video I spoke about how I use flashcards, in that I won't download a list of 20 words in Afrikaans or French on farms or fruit and veg, because I'm never going to remember them. Instead, I would take words from a dialogue that I've been working on and words that I'm struggling to remember and put those in the flashcards, in the flashcard bank. But because I've got other sentences and a topic around those words, I'm far more likely to remember them, and it's a lot more fun and a lot less frustrating than just learning a list of random words. So it really does depend on you. Personally, myself, I like to listen a lot. I'm a very auditory learner, and so for me, listening is great. Even if I don't fully understand everything that's going on, I find that when I hear a word multiple times, I then, it then stands out to me. I then want to know what that word means, and I'll look it up, and then the next time I hear it, it makes more sense. Some people get frustrated with listening if they can't understand everything that's going on. It gets them really down, they hate it, they get really frustrated. But for me, listening is great. I also do like reading, but I need to read once I've done the listening. I can't read first because I need to know how something sounds before I can read it. And you have in language learning series, they'll break words down and break the alphabet down and tell you how to pronounce things from that, but I never think that's completely accurate, and I find that really difficult to use to then learn pronunciation. So I like to do lots and lots and lots of listening and then do reading, and that for me is great. Recently, writing's been really good for me as well. Just where I am sort of at the moment, it's difficult at the moment for me to have as many lessons and interact with as many native speakers as I'd like to be doing. So writing, I find, has been really good at getting me similar sort of thing to speaking, but I'm putting my thoughts on the paper, and the fact that I'm writing it and I can see it gives me time to readjust things. And actually, I think when I write, I get more time to reflect on it than I do when I speak, particularly when I'm doing my own study by myself. So writing's been really good. And what I did today, which I found really helpful, was I was working on a dialogue in my Colloquial Afrikaans book, and I was struggling with a few things in this dialogue, sentence structures and words and things. So I took a very small chunk of that dialogue and I changed the sentences, and I put in things that were relevant to me and to my world and what's around here. So for example, the dialogue was a discussion between two people, and one person was asking the other, do your parents still live in this particular place? And the person was saying, no, they haven't lived there for a long time. The place wasn't big enough for them. So I then took that dialogue, and where he was talking about parents, I changed it to sister, then I changed it to friend and brother, and where they they said the place was not big enough for them, I then changed it to the garden was not big enough for them. And then in something else, I changed it to the apartment was not big enough for them. So sort of been learning the dialogues and then playing around and changing bits and pieces. And that's been really, really helpful. So I think that there is no right way to learn a language. It completely depends on you, and you need to work out through trial and error what methods are best for you. You know, are you a very auditory learner like myself? Do you need to do lots of listening? Is that what really drives your learning? Or are you a very visual learner? Do you need to see words? Do you need to use flashcards and pictures? Is that good for you? Or are you somebody that, you know, you have to know the mechanics of a language, you have to know how the grammar works? Are you that type of person? And the other thing is, whatever you do, it has to be fun for you, because if it's not fun, you're not going to want to do it and you're going to hate it. I don't think flashcards are fun. I will do flashcards when I don't have time for anything else. So if I'm standing in a queue in a shop and I think it's a really long queue and I think, oh, you know, I could do a bit of language practice, then I'll flick through some flashcards. Or if I'm drinking my cup of tea in the morning and I don't have a book near me and it would be a hassle to walk up and get one because I'm feeling particularly lazy, I've normally got my phone next to me, as we all do, and I'll just flick through some flashcards. So yeah, you need to find what's most fun for you. I find I'm really interested in travel, and I'm particularly when I'm learning a language, one of the reasons why I want to learn that language is I'm interested in the country. And so I have the KykNet app on my mobile phone, which is Afrikaans TV channel. And so I would like to watch two series. One is young Braai, and Young goes all around South Africa, Braai in barbecuing in different places, so I get to see different places in South Africa. He speaks to different people, so I get to hear different accents and learn about different people's ways of life, and that's really interesting. And another one that I've gotten into recently is Leef Jou Reis, so live your journey. And that's about a guy that goes all around South Africa but also all around the world and visiting different places, and that for me is so interesting. And I've become quite interested in South America recently, and so he's done quite a lot of episodes in South America, and so that's been really interesting for me. So, you know, don't get bogged down with the right way to learn a language or the wrong way to learn a language, because I think there is no right or wrong way across there are certain things that have, you know, been found to work better than others, but because we are also different and we all have different schedules and different likes and different interests and different personality profiles, you can't say that there's one way that's right and one way that's wrong. You know, I know people that love learning grammar rules. Oh God, for me that would be hell. You know, I'm much more interested in speaking and listening and just trying rather than I am in having to work out exactly the grammar of the language. So do what works best for you, and yeah, don't get stressed, and just make sure you enjoy your learning, and that really is the most important thing. You know, quite often when we hear polyglots and language learners talking about methods and language learning tools, they're talking about the ones that work best for them, and that's great, because those will work for some people, but they're not going to work for everyone. So if you hear about somebody saying, you know, this is how they learn languages and this is the way to learn a language, but it doesn't work for you, don't worry about it and don't feel frustrated and despondent, because that person's not wrong, and that way is obviously for them the way to learn a language, and that's what works for them, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you, and it doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. And that's what really is so great about the world that we live in now, and about YouTube and the internet, is that you can hear all these different people's opinions so easily. I mean, you can type into YouTube how to learn a language and you'll come up with hundreds of different videos, you know, and everybody's telling you how they learn, and that's great, because we're all different and we all learn in different ways. So somebody's way is going to be the right way for you, or one of the right ways for you. So yeah, when you're hearing polyglots and language learners talking about the way to learn a language, remember that quite often it's their way of learning a language, the best way, the way that works best for them. So don't get frustrated by it, and don't feel that it's the only way to learn a language, and because you can't learn in that way, that means you can't learn a language. That's rubbish. This is a subject that I am really passionate about. So yeah, do what you enjoy and you will get there. That's everything for now. Remember to have fun and find the ways that work best for you. Maybe you'll find a way that nobody else has found yet, and that's great. And if you do, share that. But yeah, share in the comments down below your ways of learning a language. I'd really love to know, and I'm sure everybody else would love to know too. Have a great day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.